It's been so long since I've been here that everything feels unfamiliar. But we are back after, it's been a couple of months, I guess, since I've been sitting in this chair. But it's good to be back home at the home studio, the real mothership of Maverick News. And tonight, everything is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go down a couple of different paths because I was overnight, as I always do, was listening to some live streams as I was falling asleep. Then in the middle of the night, I got up and I was looking online at things, and I stumbled upon an article that I found alarming because of the tone and the sensationalistic nature of it. So that is that led me down a real path of discovery and revelation. So I'm going to share that journey with you tonight, the journey that took me down some conservative roads, and I didn't really like what I encountered along the way overnight. And I'll share that with you. It relates back to that commentary that I made a few nights ago about being unapologetic as a conservative these days. So I'll highlight all that for you, and all that's going to tie into many of tonight's top news stories, which include this racist post from Donald Trump overnight showing Michelle and Barack Obama as apes in a meme. I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it. It has been taken down by Trump, and I think that must be a first, but nevertheless, it is. He did take it down. We'll show you where all of that is at and where that is going. And then we'll touch on the other stories of the night that we encounter as well. I'm not as well prepared this evening because I've been bringing components back and putting the computer system back together, the studio, and then even right up until this moment, things still not functioning exactly the way that they should be. But we will muddle through and get some sort of a broadcast put to bed by the time we're done. And with that, I will take this short break and come back on the other side. Stay with me.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
All right, we are back, and where am I going to begin? Well, I'm not going to begin where all the other media is tonight. I'm not going to start with the Epstein stuff. I'm not going to start with the Trump stuff. I'm going to start grassroots, sort of grassroots. I'm going to start with a conservative media platform that I really wasn't familiar with until last night. And it's actually prominent, especially in the U.S., but I just didn't really know about it. The guy who started this, it's called Rift. And Elijah Shffer, he used to work, I guess, for Glenn Beck, and they had a following. This media influencer, media guy, I guess he's had a series of problems over many years, but he has his own media platform, media company. It's called Rift, and calls it Rift TV. And I'll tell you, I was shocked when I read my first Rift article overnight. I'll show you what I found. See, what was I looking for? I was I don't even remember what it was exactly, but this came up in my feed. It was weird. This is what I came across, but here it is: 7 dead in Maine private jet crash linked to anti-ICE Houston law firm. I probably was looking at some stories about ICE. So this is not brand new. I wasn't even really aware of this story. It dates back to January 26th. And it's about a private jet linked to a Houston law firm. And I'm going to read you this article, but please keep in mind that what I'm about to share with you, I would say the slant on this does not get you closer to the truth. It has elements of truth in it, but it is very sensationalistic and biased and leading. Anyway, it says a private jet linked to a Houston law firm renowned for aggressive opposition to ICE and substantial funding to defeat Republicans in Texas primaries plunged upside down and burst into flames during takeoff from Bangor International Airport on Sunday evening, claiming multiple lives amid a brutal winter storm. The Bombardier Challenger 600, registered to a corporation sharing the same Houston address as Arnold and Itkin trial lawyers, crashed shortly after departure around 7:45 local time. The Federal Aviation Administration reported 7 fatalities and 1 crew member seriously injured. Officials citing the flight manifest stated 6 people were aboard and all are presumed dead. The aircraft had arrived from Houston earlier in the day. Arnold and Itkin partners Kurt Arnold and Jason Itkin co-founded Texans for Truth and Liberty PAC, which received a $10 million initial contribution from the firm and has spent heavily in Republican primaries, often aligned with interests in challenging tort reform and backed by Soros-linked funding. Anyway, so we have this plane crash. Everybody on board killed. It appears the jet belonged to, or was linked to, this law firm, which this media company is saying has been active in political work, pro-Democrat, anti-ICE work. And if you scroll down here, this is, I'll tell you what got me was what I read near the end in particular. So I'll just read this. Air traffic control audio captured the chaos. Aircraft upside down. Quote, we have a passenger aircraft upside down. Transmitted about 45 seconds after takeoff. First responders reached the scene in under a minute, but the jet inverted and caught fire in heavy snow and poor visibility. Victims' identities remain unreleased pending confirmation. The National Transportation Safety Board leads the investigation into the cause. Now, here's where I was like, holy crap, I can't believe he's writing this. He says, tragic ironies abound when elite anti-enforcement crusaders who pour fortunes into dismantling borders while jet-setting and luxury meet a frozen reckoning on an icy runway. Open borders zeal meets closed skies. The bill for weaponizing law against American sovereignty sometimes arrives without warning. Oh my God. Are you hearing what he's writing, the person who wrote this? Who exactly did write this? Pebbles. And I really doubt that's a real name. That's a pen name. Tragic ironies abound when elite anti-enforcement crusaders who pour fortunes into dismantling borders while jet-setting and luxury meet a frozen reckoning on an icy runway. Open borders zeal meets closed skies. The bill for weaponizing law against American sovereignty sometimes arrives without warning. They're saying these people deserved it. They're saying that they had it coming, that it was irony or fateful, that this was their destiny, that what, God intervened or something? But one way or another, this is a form of justice, that they had this coming. That is sick. It's absolutely sick. I was really taken aback when I read that. Tucked in at the end. The bias, the political bias is evident all through the article, but when you get to the end, it's like no compassion, no feelings for the victims. On the contrary, they're like, that's what happens when you're on that side of the political aisle. It blew my mind. I thought, what have we come to? This is what's going on online. The guy who runs this, Elijah Shffer. That's the guy's name. And whoever wrote that, using a pen name named Pebbles. Why? Because of the tone. Who the hell wants to put their real name on that and suffer the consequences, or be accountable? I think is really the more important way of looking at it. And the article itself, like, that law firm definitely involved in defending or representing political interests. That's what lawyers do, right? Here's an update on the story, by the way, from KHOU, Houston, Channel 11. Let's pick this up. And we'll just give you a mainstream media take on where the investigation is at. I think the victims deserve at least some degree of respect and acknowledgement. Did I lose them? No, here we go. Audio, please.
People killed when a business jet linked to a Houston law firm crashed last month in Bangor, Maine.
Yeah, Bangor police releasing those identities officially today.
Katira Winfrey in the newsroom with the details just released. Katira.
Well, Ron and Sherman, today we're learning the victims were all connected to a newly launched travel company. Bangor police identified one of the victims as Tara Arnold. According to Go Beyond Luxury's website, she is one of the company's co-founders.
And see, this is the thing. It's not just a law firm, and it isn't just political. There's a travel company of some kind that's involved here. And so what we read in that article is not, they're not sharing all of the information.
34-year-old Shelby Kuyawa also died in the crash. She's listed on the company website as a hospitality professional and sommelier. KHOU 11 independently confirmed a fourth team member, Nick Mastracusa, as another crash victim. He's described as an award-winning chef for the company, and as we've previously reported, Shauna Collins was among those killed. The event designer was also an employee at Lakewood Church. But we also know the plane's pilot, Jacob Hosmer, was also killed, and the Bangor Police Department identified the final victim as Jordan Rydell. Now, right now, the cause of the crash still under investigation. We are expected to receive a preliminary report within the next 20 days and a final report, which will include a probable cause for the crash, is not expected until next year. Sherman?
All right, a lot of questions still, but at least those names now official. Katira, thank you.
So I'm not sure that Rift even got it right. So even the basic information, but it highlighted something for me. The toxic nature of media, social media, conservative media in particular right now. It's been pretty toxic on the left side for a long time too. with cancel culture, but it is really amped up. It's reached a new low just even this weekend, overnight, with the post from Donald Trump. I mean, just when you think that he couldn't go any lower, he posts overnight a picture of the Obamas in a meme that makes them look like apes. And then I'm struggling with this. Do I show this? Do I not show it? I'm inclined to not show it. I know that people want to see it, but how do you show it so that people can understand what it is if you don't show it? But if you show it, you're spreading it. And I'm seeing other media outlets run with it. They'll get clicks, they'll get ratings. But are you any better than Donald Trump, who posts this? And it's clearly racist. It is sickening. This is the president of the United States who posts this on Truth overnight. But back to this Rift article. Again, it's just it's like the Trump and this movement, this fascistic populist movement, has now evolved to the point where he is giving permission, essentially, to people on that political team to be jerks, to be bigots, to be absolutely disgusting people. It's like it's okay. I'm the president. Look what I just did. You can do that and more, and get away with it, with little or no accountability. Although even he was held accountable overnight for what he did. To read that at the end of that article in Rift, where basically the message is they had it coming, these victims on this plane, and I'm not even sure that the people on that plane, all of them, were active politically. Nevertheless, so after I read that, what is this Rift? And so I started to dig into it a little bit. And that's when I found out, well, here, this is what I did. I started to do a little research. And I started to just dig around. What is Rift? Where did it come from? Who's behind it? And it is this Elijah Shffer. And it gets saucier and spicier and exposes even more of the underbelly of that side of the political aisle as we dig into it. And so here's what I found out. Okay, so Shffer is this conservative right-wing podcaster, commentator, producer, media personality, and his whole, I guess, persona is predicated on being provocative. He has this unfiltered style, as some would say, that blends humor, and I'll put that in quotation marks, with commentary on controversial cultural and political topics. So he first rose to prominence back in 2020 during the Black Lives Matter protests after George Floyd's death. At that time, he positioned himself as an on-the-ground reporter covering riots, protests. We're seeing so many influencers gain audiences just by chasing people around who are holding Bristol board signs and on sticks these days. So he covered Kenosha, Portland, the Chaz Chop Zone in Seattle, and he went to and covered the J6 Capitol events. And then he went to work for Blaze Media. That's the Glenn Beck operation, where he hosted a show called Slightly Offensive And it reflected this deliberately edgy, boundary pushing commentary on social issues. And went on to then co-host You Are Here on Blaze TV. And he now has Rift, but then after he was fired from Blaze in 2022 after allegations of misconduct, specifically violating company policies related to an incident with and this is where we start going down another road, a female coworker. Yes. So he then leaves Blaze and he launches his own media outlet called Rift Media and Rift TV. And so it operates as a smaller, right-wing, right-leaning, anti-conservative Inc. media outlet. In other words, he's one of these people who says that current conservative media is sort of captured by conservative Inc., right? That they're all being paid and they've all sold out. So you can't trust them anymore either. So we're seeing a growing narrative in that regard, and there's probably some truth to it. We're going to get into that too. The flagship show that they have now is the Rift Report, which Shffer hosts himself, features daily regular live shows, and he has other people working for him, and that's where we're going to go down another road. So as I was looking for this stuff, I started to look up Shffer because I thought, wow, like how distasteful is this? How far has this guy gone? What's he about? So let me see if I've got you here. Well, let's just do a Twitter scroll and we'll show you. Okay. There. Elijah Shffer. So this is what comes up. Conservative podcaster Elijah Shffer faces divorce after affair allegations. 32-year-old host of Slightly Offensive on Rumble and founder of Rift TV filed for divorce from Kezia, that's his wife, on January 22nd. That's interesting. Here's a clip of Shffer right here.
I saw a tweet that said this. It's like, it's crazy on 2025 to pull bitches. You literally have to be like a millionaire, 6'7", drive a Lamborghini, and like that's who, like, you know what I mean? Like, and be white. And it's like, yeah, so women are still going after men that emulate the most masculine tendencies, right? They're going after tall, rich, famous men. And what do we get? The women, they're just whores. They can't even cook a hot pocket, So it's like, and that's why once you have sex with them, once you come to your senses, right? So it's like you have that post ejaculate clarity, post nut clarity they call it online these days. But like, because you realize, like, after you nut, you're like, you're just a bunch of holes. And that's really sad because then it devalues women. So then your view of women becomes so low because women really are just a bunch of holes today. But that doesn't mean that's who they have to be or who God made them to be or what they should be. And I think that a lot of the hatred that I have towards women and a lot of the hatred a lot of men have towards women is simply the product of generations of sin and rebellion that have created women to be something that they're not. They're not feminine. They're masculine. And like look at this type of woman that.
Now, you got to remember something here. This is the Christian right. This guy represents the Christian right. And so now I've read this. These people who died in a plane crash deserved it. They had it coming. It's like divine intervention or something. Now, that kind of language coming from a man who is facing divorce because of an affair. And the thing is, I actually the woman that allegedly had the affair with Elijah Shffer, I came across her first before I actually found anything about him. And her name, Sarah Stock. She is a rising conservative social media influencer. She has positioned herself over the last couple of years as a trad woman, just recently married, and presents herself as a traditional or trad wife on the Christian right. It smacks of hypocrisy. Again, this is, I didn't intend to, I didn't go, I did, this stuff's just swelling up. This reminds me so much of, evangelical or televangelists caught in sex scandals in the past that erupt into a media circus. But this is sort of a more of a grassroots, new form, new media, social media phenomenon. It's and it's happening right now on the conservative right, and I'd say the more extreme end of the conservative right, the white Christian nationalist conservative right, which is growing at an exponential rate. It's becoming more prominent. These people connected to influencers like Nick Fuentes, then, over there, Glenn Beck, I wouldn't put him, on the extreme side so much, but he's surrounded by these people who are, and he tolerates it. And he's like, okay. And he profits from it because he brings them on board under his umbrella, his media company. And this guy with Rift, he has carved out a niche place for really toxic media, toxic right-wing media. And the language is like, it's okay, but it's not okay. I guess people can say what they want depending on the platform they're on. But in my view, this is gross and it's shocking. And I listened to the way he just spoke about women. Maybe I just inadvertently stumbled into a cesspool overnight, but it seems like this is actually in the mainstream because it's getting so much attention. Here's the woman. I'm going to bring up the video. Here's the woman on Rift about him before this scandal broke about the affair. She appears on Rift TV on Rumble. And I'm not sure who this woman here is as the host with the black hair. Her name might be Candace. I couldn't quite figure that out because it doesn't really make it clear in the description. In any event, she's on this podcast with these two other people, Sarah Stock, who's now Sarah Setke, by the way, because she did get married after. And she's on this podcast, and they're talking about gay people and LGBTQ people, trans people who are identifying as Christians and how they have issues with that. Anyway, here I'll play part of this clip where Sarah Stock introduces herself and explains what she's about.
So let's go ahead and introduce you guys. We have Daniel over there on the ones and twos. What's up, Danny?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Excited to be here. I don't know.
Incredible. And then we have Sarah Stock. Now, Sarah, my former producer,
Wrong
actually...
button. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, woo! Okay,
We're still learning the soundboard, guys. My former producer wanted me to give you props for absolutely destroying Sam Cedar in a Jubilee debate, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible stuff. And I
Thank
actually
you.
came to know you when we covered the story on the absolutely deranged MAGA civil war that erupted over engagement ring size.
Yes.
We also covered
The
that.
two things I'm most known for. Love it.
Incredible. Well, we covered
This is
that
before
story
the
as well.
scandal.
Obviously, we were Team Sarah all the way on that one, but I'm stoked to have you on the show. For anyone who isn't familiar with you, do you want to just give a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I've been involved in conservative politics for a few years now. Some of it was behind the scenes, and some of it was just like activism on my college campus. Now I'm graduated from college pretty much this week, and I'm getting married in like a month and kind of just making content and chilling. I'm not really doing that much these days, but
Incredible. I mean, hey, you're living the dream though. I mean, you're literally doing what we talk about in this space when we talk about, you know, the perils of feminism and how people need to be getting married and they need to be having as many babies as possible. It seems like you're literally doing, you know, you're putting your money where your mouth is. You're doing what you talk about. And you're only 22 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Incredible.
yeah, exactly. 22.
Amazing. And you've been politically active, though, for a while. And I believe you were just telling me before the show started, you even started your own Turning Point chapter. Is that right?
Yeah, so I actually started a Turning Point USA chapter at my college. Vanguard University is like a private Christian school. Unfortunately, this semester, they actually shut down the chapter. They made some new rules surrounding political activism on campus. And it's a private school, so they can kind of do that. And yeah, it's very unfortunate. There's actually been like a few stories about Fox News and stuff this week about my school specifically. The chapter president there has been speaking out about it and everything. So it's kind of been this whole drama this past week, which is funny, but...
Wow. Well, on that note, I'm kind of excited to get your insight. I know that one of the topics that you want to cover tonight is this escalating rift between Candace Owens and Turning Point USA. And obviously, Erica Kirk has now come out and she's had some very choice words for Candace. So I'm looking forward to, breaking all of that down with you a little bit later in the show. And then, guys, at the end of the show, we are going to be addressing some of your questions. I feel like I've
Okay. Enough of that. So you know who she is. But here's the thing. So almost a year earlier, I think it was exactly a year earlier, she goes to CPAC. And she meets this Elijah Shffer. And I guess she ends up working for this guy or whatever. I'm not sure if she met him at CPAC, but in any event, she's working for this guy. Starts getting involved in politics and live streaming for Rift. And this guy's married. And now there's this leaked audio that has come out just within the last couple of days. This is why it's blowing up on social media, because it's just scandalous. So here you have a young woman who is presenting herself as very traditional, very religious, Christian. And then this leaked audio comes in. Now, the audio levels are low, so you're going to have to crank your computer volume up tonight in order to hear this. And I do apologize. I was going to normalize the audio for you before coming on, but we ran out of time because of all the technical problems. So I hope this I hope you can hear this tonight. Here we go. Here's the audio. leaked audio. She's admitting to having, and this appears to be authentic, although it has not been confirmed as being authentic by other independent media outlets. But those who have been running it, and it's all over the internet, they're saying that this is her. And from what I'm hearing, it sounds very, 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 very authentic. You can decide for yourself what you think. But she's confessing here to having an affair with Elijah
I don't
Shffer.
take any accountability at all because, like, it obviously was my fault too. It happened between us, but even that was like not like, I don't know. I felt like it was like he got me like very intoxicated. Like I don't even like remember most of it, and I was even like thinking back because it was like at CPAC the 2 nights you're there, and the second night I was like breaking out in like a rash, and so he's like, oh, like get some Benadryl, it'll help with the rash. And like now I'm thinking back, and it's like that's probably why I like blacked out, because he like intentionally gave me Benadryl and like fed me a bunch of shots and stuff, and like obviously that's like stupid on my part to like go along with that, you know, but at the same time it's like he obviously like knew what he was doing.
So he had it in his mind. Benadryl, what? Like, does that just make it increases like the toxicity or something? Like, gets you really screwed up?
Yeah, like mixing like a drug like that with alcohol.
When was what was this? CPAC?
That was when I very first met him in February.
Where was CPAC? I don't even remember this.
In DC.
Oh, that was in DC. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Benadryl for a breakout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. Yeah, he. I know
Once
how.
Once again, like I'm saying, like I'm not saying I don't like have any fault in that. Like it like definitely like ate me up for like a long time.
Yeah.
I feel very bad about it still.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's it's tough, and I mean, I don't know how you feel about the guy now, but it's like it's probably worse that you like the more that you learn about him and know who he really is, it probably makes the whole thing worse a little bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What did
I mean, I just don't want anything to do with him. Like,
I get you. I totally get you. What did he say about his family? Like, because obviously he has like a family and kids. What was his excuse with that, though? Like, how would he justify that?
He was like, oh, my wife doesn't care. She lets me run free or whatever. She doesn't care as long as, because I like take such good care of her, and she just lets me be a man and like do what I want and blah blah blah. Like,
really?
He was like saying that stuff. Yeah.
Says like the wife doesn't care. Wow.
Yeah.
So he has an open relationship, huh? That's crazy.
Which, I mean...
Did you ever question that, or like...
I was like, that's definitely not... Like, I like realized it's not true.
Right.
But also, like, at the time, like, it seemed like... I don't know, just like the way he acted and everyone acted around him and the things he would say around girls, it almost like seemed like that was true. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
And like obviously like I deeply regret that, but also like I'm not a slut. Like I mean that's like a horrible thing, but it's not like I really am like sleeping around or have been. So
yeah, I mean you don't have to defend yourself.
It's kind of yeah, I know, but I'm just saying like it's kind of just like not even true for like anyone who knows me. So
yeah, I mean, you just had a fling with Elijah, and that's, I don't know, I guess he got upset about it. He's just exaggerating. Yeah. I mean, Did you, I guess you're not going to tell anyone, huh? Or, I guess I was going to ask, like, would you tell your husband? I guess, this is before your husband, right?
Yeah, no, we weren't engaged.
Oh, okay.
But no, I'm not telling anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I was like I said, like very intoxicated.
Well,
So
he said like it was a couple times like you were traveling around and like maybe in DC and New York and stuff like that. I'm not trying to.
no.
Well, it's okay. Your secret is safe with us. I'm just, oh, okay. Look, I'm not sitting here in judgment. And that's not my intent. I'm highlighting, I guess maybe I am sitting here in judgment by highlighting this. I'm highlighting the hypocrisy of all of it, not just her. That's not the point here. I actually feel for the young lady because this was obviously something she did not want out in the public, and now it's everywhere, and now it's here. But she set herself up for this, I guess, in many ways. It's terrible. But here you have, again, these people who have sold themselves to us as traditional values, politicians, influencers, personalities, very religious, and that's not what it turns out to be at all. It isn't just her. It isn't just this Elijah Shffer who has some real serious problems in his personal life, as it turns out. It's a lot of people on that side of the political spectrum. You start looking at it all. Just look at what Trump did overnight. I'm not a racist. And he posts what is very clear. I mean, you couldn't get any much more racist than what he posted overnight. Michelle and Barack Obama as apes in a meme, in a video on Truth Social. And there are so many others that have, shall we say, fallen from grace, right? And it still blows my mind how the most extreme of them all have been embraced by so many, and how they continue to rise in prominence, and how they are being given so much prominence on platforms like InfoWars, and how some platforms seem really devoted to all of this darkness. And it's not good. And it is present in the streets, especially of the USA. This is one of the reasons we have so much conflict and even now death in the streets. It's the hypocrisy. Sarah Stock, she presents herself as a left-wing conservative influencer, right-wing conservative influencer, trad wife. She, as I was saying, she did get married. Her name right now, she is still married. She's not getting divorced as far as we know. Because at the time of the affair, alleged affair, she was not yet, wasn't quite engaged yet. So looks like she may have dodged a bullet. But Elijah, not so much. Here are pictures. Wedding pics. Right here. There's a picture from her wedding. Handsome, rich, tall, wealthy family, old money. Still, she cheated on him until the engagement. What do women even want? Why are they so evil? It says. This is from some account called Venom. And this one from somebody, Brit. Shout out to the one who snuck a comment in before the lock. Outstanding ratio. Sarah Setka. That's her new name, married name. And her post, her account now, she has now deleted that from X. But before she deleted that, she posted a lot of what has been said about me is completely untrue. That being said, there are mistakes, unwise decisions I have made that I deeply regret. I apologize to everyone who has been scandalized by this. Please pray, logging off now. And Tony says, your husband should get lifetime alimony and more than half your shit. See, she wasn't like, she was dating, I guess, her husband, but hadn't been like engaged. So I don't know where they're at. And is that the Pope? Looks like it is. Make sure that's not AI or something. Let me find out. That's pretty incredible. Let me just see if that is the Pope. Yes. She had her marriage blessed by the Pope when she married Will Setka. That was just in January. And then shortly afterward, on January 21st, they went to the Vatican and they participated in a blessing session where they met the Pope well dressed in wedding attire, and she posted about it on social media, which you're seeing right there. Isn't that incredible? That's amazing. But her X account is down. Donald Trump is posting racist stuff, which he has taken down. And all of this is causing division within MAGA, within the right wing. What he's about, what this guy is about. I'm going to play another clip of Elijah just to give you a little taste of it. Here we go. Here he is on X.
I'm about to take a massive pay cut myself anyways to continue to grow this company, and it does hurt. And I've had to do a couple because I could have just sat back and like ran my shows and just kept all the money and did whatever, but I'm trying to grow and expand because, you know, God gives the growth. It says that, you know, that oftentimes we put in the effort, but God gives the growth, meaning, you know, when a man labors, it's important to realize that, you know, this show's very it's like
offensive,
a softcore degenerate show, you know what I mean? Like it's like we don't shy away from different things, but when you get down to the seriousness of it, that's what people need to realize when they watch the show. You can joke around, you can make mistakes, but we don't accept the fallen nature in us. We still have to come close to God, come close to his church, and we've got to seek to have transformation. No matter how many times you fall, the Bible says you fall 7 times as a man, but the righteous man, he gets back up. Meaning like Lot, you know, lived near the gate of Sodom, and that led to his corruption. The proximity towards evil led towards what was like the multuation of his heart. So he was sort of, you know, deadened or hardened to the depravity because he lived in the gate of Sodom. And the gate is the place of where the politics took place, right? That's where the conversations, the gossip, he was involved in it. So sometimes when you're involved in politics, the world, and you're in it, it hardens your heart. And so with that becomes a level of degeneracy. And, you know, he had sex with his daughters. You know, he had fucked both his daughters. That's crazy, right? And so there's was that Lot? I think that was Lot. Was that Lot? Yeah, I think that was, right? Or was that Noah? Who was
the
that?
Theologians over here can be consult the
I think it was Lot. I think they thought the world was over. They were in the cave, and his daughters had got him drunk and had sex with him. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
James Lindsay.
Was that Lot? I don't know.
I don't think that was.
Was that Lot? It was somebody. It was somebody who listened to God. You can look it up.
I'm forgetting.
All right, let me see that. daughters having sex with father, 4K. Oh, shoot.
That was already in your search
Yeah,
history.
Lot's eldest daughter got drunk and had sex with him. Yeah, okay, see, now you're making me doubt my own theology. But no, so they had sex with him. And so this guy, obviously, it's like you read his story and you're like, dude, he was a degenerate. He's having incestual sex with not one, but two of his daughters. Is this guy, that's how the nation of Pakistan was born. But you also go, literally, though, it's just like where we go down to get these people. But then you go to like, Hebrews, right, towards the Hall of Faith, and then you see that it was accounted towards Lot righteousness because of his obedience to God to leave, right? Where his wife turned around and she was emulsified and turned into salt. Like, our understanding of God's heart and the way he judges us is different. And what I got from all of the actions of God, who he called righteous and faithful, is that he always called men righteous, not who were perfect. They were often very degenerate. They were often adulterers and murderers and backstabbers, and they oftentimes were even greedy or had, took advantage of people. But when God called them towards bravery and obedience, like Lot, when he called him to leave the city and to do something that made no sense, his will and his act of obedience is what set him apart, and yet he counted him faith. So then apparently he's in eternal life. He got eternal life from that. So long story short, a lot of times we think that, you got to be Seth Dillon or Joel Berry and you got to be perfect, and that's the only time God's going to use you because you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't debate people, and you're better than everyone else. But sometimes the reason why, Kanye West, we like him, even though he's got a lot of faults, we like men who are brave, who are pushing the Overton window, who are trying to destroy the current system, and we're not so concerned with their immoral impulses, basically. Because everybody knows, like Trump, even, he's married multiple times, definitely assaulted some women for sure. Some of that's got to be true. I mean, not the ugly ones, but he's had some questionable nights. You know, billionaires are at least better than Epstein's nights. But everyone didn't care, right? In 2016, because we just wanted him as president. We wanted someone that was going to break the system, and now he's taking money from Jews. So, don't take money from Jews. Is the final comment today.
WTF? Like, seriously. What the hell is going on out there? Maybe I've just been living a sheltered life. I mean, I know this, there's way worse out there too. But I mean, that's Christianity? That's what God wants? That's a political movement? The thing is, these people are not journalists, that's for sure, even though they sit behind a desk, and I think often people mistake them for practicing some sort of journalism. They're entertainers, they're influencers, they're personalities. They have shows. They, in some cases, are modern televangelists, social media evangelists. Donate now. That's largely what it is. And Sarah Stock is a cliche. She's not the only one, and she won't be the last. She's not the first, that's for sure. And that sort of thing has been going on for a long time. It's in media. You want human beings who are beautiful, aesthetically pleasing. You don't need to be smart, and I'm not saying she's not smart. I'm just saying that she has the blonde hair and she has the right look, and you get an audience with that. How's that song go? Dirty Laundry, I think they call it. And what are the lyrics? Bubble-headed bleach blonde comes on at 5, will tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye. Yeah. Well, we already had the plane crash at the beginning of the program. She didn't have to tell you about it, but they brought her on anyway. She's on right after the plane crash over on Rift TV with Elijah and a panel, as you just saw. And she gets a following. Not the only one. For me, all of this distasteful crap overnight that I stumbled on made me think about a conversation I had just days ago with someone who was encouraging me to go back and watch the conservative in Canada, the Conservative Convention, the Leadership Convention for Pierre Poilievre, and the social media influencers who were there. Because I was told by somebody that they thought that the speeches were well worth watching. And so I did watch some of it, not all of it, some of it. And I picked up the Jasmine Lane speech, which got a standing ovation at the very end. And I did comment on it earlier. And I said, for me, it was a series of cliches. I think Jasmine Lane, nothing personal, Jasmine, but I think Jasmine Lane is that cliche. It's the blonde hair. It's the look. It's, the perfect hair. It's always in place. It is just like a news anchor, right? You have to, if you're the news anchor, you have to have the tie and the suit jacket. And that's the way it was for a long time. And you want some guy who looks like a Ken doll. And preferably if you have a local or regional television newscast for the weather report, wouldn't it be great to have a blonde with just the right look to deliver the weather every night at 6? And now, of course, there's a new kind of cliche out there, because when I've been watching hockey with my dad in the evenings, I see a lot of women sitting on the desk with the other sportscasters during the games. And a lot more female sportscasters out there. When I was younger, it was all men. Now you have a lot of women, but they have a certain look, right? You can't just put any woman in there. They got to have that look to be the sportscaster, and you have to have the look to do the news thing. And Jasmine Lane has that look. But I've been saying all these conservative influencers are just influencers. They're not journalists, and people are following them. And this has been highlighted since watching the Conservative Convention by some people on social media, pointing out what I've been saying for a long time, that they are not that they're not journalists. Here, I'll show you what I mean. This is a lot of people. This is causing additional division, even within the conservative movement in Canada. And it is because these social media influencers who went to the convention, they not only got in for free, it appears they were paid to show up, while other people were paying like $1,000 a pop, apparently, to go and partake in the festivities as Pierre Poilievre was reanointed as the great leader. Here, I'm going to get rid of some of these tabs so I can show you. So here's, somebody posted this picture of these influencers all together at the CPC convention, Conservative Party of Canada convention, and saying that they all seem to be paid to go to the CPC convention, first class flights and $1,000 tickets, and pointing out that these people are paid media and that people on that side of the political people on that political team are being told what to think by them, not to think for yourself. Here's a post with Chris Erickson saying, I would love to debate everyone in the picture below. This guy says, I don't know who Chris Erickson is. He says, my position is they are no different than the CBC, CTV, or Global News for the CPC. Prove me wrong. I'm open and ready. I would say that they're not even like mainstream media. There is balance in mainstream media. There is. They put everybody on. They will talk to everybody. They have bias for sure, I would say. But here they are. And I've been telling you for a long time, these guys are not journalists. Don't believe me? Here, let me show you something. I think it's still up. Here we go. Yeah, right here. Who is this Jasmine Lane? She's an influencer. I've known this for a long time. Just to give you some context. She's listed over here on Creator Aid. This is a marketing company. And they hired Jasmine. I don't know if she still works there. It wasn't long ago. I think she's still on their website. Creator Aid Media expands to Winnipeg, welcomes creator Jasmine Lane. Creator Aid, a pioneer in local influencer media, is excited to announce its expansion to Winnipeg, building on the success achieved in Kenora, Lethbridge, Saskatoon, and Regina. That's the company where they've been. The strategic moves underscores Creator Aid's commitment to empowering local creators in every community. So she's working for this company, or did. Don't know if she's still there, but she's definitely risen to prominence as a political influencer, not just a local influencer here. And Jasmine Lane has Winnipeg's leading creator. Creator is pleased to introduce her. The former award-winning morning show host shares her excitement after spending the last decade in traditional media. She says, I've witnessed a need to connect with others on a deeper level, with each other on a deeper level. There's a reason why digital creators have these loyal followings. They are real people telling real stories and talking about the things that matter most in our respective communities, something you really can't do with the so many regulations broadcasters must adhere to in traditional media. What? Yeah, there are rules, regulations for broadcasters to ensure balance and fairness. That's why those rules are there. And I don't know how real it is if you're being paid to deliver a marketing message by a marketing company. I don't know if that's like a real story. My life has changed so much in the last year, she says. One thing became very clear. My passion is with the community of people here in Manitoba. I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to showcase all the wonderful things, experiences, and people our province has to offer. Okay. And there she is with her blonde hair, which is a big asset in media. I don't mean that as a slight. I'm just pointing out a fact. Then I got to thinking more about what she said at the Conservative convention and what my friend said to me about how it's really worthwhile listening to this. And I don't view it the way other people view it, because for me, Jasmine Lane's speech was everything I have found distasteful from the perspective of political correctness and cancel culture and DEI. What are you talking about, Rick? She's a conservative. She's against all that stuff. No, she's not. She embodies it to someone like me. I understand why she's popular. She has the right look. She appeals to women within a certain demographic, a certain age range in particular, but all women. She is very attractive, but not too attractive to be threatening to women. I'm just telling you how it is in the media world, folks. She has attitude. She's just a little bit bitchy, which as a male, again, she's not aimed at me, right? That's why I don't relate to her, and maybe why I even find her abrasive. Frankly, her presentation, I'm sure in real life she's a very nice person, but her presentation I find irritating as a man because it's preachy. I've had women bosses, lots of women bosses, and in fact, probably my best boss, maybe my second best boss was a woman. I don't have anything against women in positions of power at all. And I'm not very judgmental at all, frankly. I'm pretty liberal in that sense. I'm tolerant of just about everybody, but I find Jasmine Lane to be preachy and abrasive, and she grates on me with her presentation because I'm a man, maybe even because of my age. I have to admit that. So that's me. That's just the way it comes off to me. But the messaging too doesn't resonate with me at all. And so as someone who, and I've said it many times, I align kind of conservative, especially fiscally, and I want less government. I want all those conservative kinds of things, especially in the economy, less debt, all of that. But this Conservative Party of Canada, they keep losing me. This case in point. And Jasmine Lane, I haven't seen exactly what she said about Jamil Jivani going down to Washington to meet with J.D. Vance. I commented on Jamil Jivani going down there yesterday, briefly, and I was like, well, if you can get it, something productive out of it, I guess, whatever, but I don't think that's what's going on. And I don't think that's what's going on. I think it's a lot of shenanigans. I think that it's a bunch of BS. Either this is some sort of a strange, weird political move, a trial balloon to gauge public opinion, to see how people react to having Jamil Jivani, a member of parliament, conservative, go down to meet with his friend, J.D. Vance. To have productive negotiations is what he comes away with. Sort of acting on his own. No, pretty much acting on his own. Not clear if he had the blessings or even the direction of Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. Who the heck knows? I think that there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. I think that's certain. And I think Poilievre probably is aware. But anyway, the reason I just bring it up is because I've seen Jasmine Lane commenting on it. I've seen that it's creating this. At least she's got videos up either from before or after with Jamil Jivani, but she's talked to this guy, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies because he comes back and he posts on social media that he has a message from Trump saying that President Trump loves you. What the hell is that? The dear leader loves you, Canada. He loves Canadians. He loves you. That's the message that he came. But that's what his trip to the United States produced. A message to Canadians from Donald Trump that he loves us. Bunk. The guy's threatening to take over our country. He's putting up maps with the USA flag over our country because he's getting ready to take us over. He's involved there's influence, foreign influence from the USA into Canada politically right now. He's fueling the separatist movement in Western Canada. He clearly has his sights set on Alberta because of the oil. And then this conservative MP goes down there on his own and comes back with a message like that. That sets off huge, big red flag, red alert. He loves us. That's a setup, man. How stupid do they think we are? And Jasmine Lane, one of among all those conservative influencers, all they've done is crap on Canada and blame Canada for the problems that President Trump has created. And every one of them, in one respect or another, not just Jasmine Lane with the blonde hair, but they're all characters. They've all been wrapped in some sort of a caricature. They are presented to us as characters, even with like names that are not real. They're characters. Now, her name, I think, is real. I don't know if it's something she made up or not, but it sounds like a real name. And she's been in media for some time with that name. But you have these others who have names of characters. That's not like real. That's performance, right? That's performative. That's a show. That's what she's involved in. See, for me as a journalist, and this is my reaction to what my friend said to me. He said, you got to watch these influencers. They go watch their speeches from the CPC convention. They're really worth watching. No, I didn't find it was worth watching at all. It just showed me everything that I've ever found distasteful about media. And it was like right up there in front. And again, the hypocrisy smacked. It reminded me too of that David Alot that was on our program the other night, a few weeks ago, where he was talking about boomers like me, like I'm the problem. That people of my age, we're the problem with Canada because we're in the way of a future for young Canadians who, as Jasmine Lane says, they've sacrificed so much. I'm listening to her. Young people have sacrificed so much. I thought, my God, what the hell are you talking about? Let me run the clip. I'll find it here. Do we have her? There we go. I've got the clip. I don't think people really, they're listening to cliches. The messaging kind of resonates. They're looking at the rapper, which is the blonde hair. Hang on a second. I need to get it queued. What the hell is going on? Go back. Here we go. They're looking at the package, at the wrapper, at the glitzy packaging. But I don't think people are really analyzing the real messaging behind this. I was listening to the words. Listen to the words. If you're mesmerized by the packaging, I suggest you close your eyes while you listen. Here she is. This is why Canada's in trouble.
Party simply does not exist anymore, and it hasn't for a long time.
The old Liberal Party.
And if you doubt that, just listen to how they talk to you, asking you to celebrate another $9 billion in borrowed money for a GST rebate that doesn't solve a single affordability problem.
This isn't where we're supposed to be in the... This is
and
not
that
where we
is
were.
exactly why being honest about these realities is always met with so much viciousness. Truth, it exposes the gap between what they promised and what you're left living with. And while I know that all of this is so frustrating to listen to and it feels like banging your head against the wall some days, I really do want to encourage you to be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Be calm, be courageous.
Oh, for crying out loud. Hang on a second here. I am sorry for all the technical problems here tonight. I just have not. I had to put everything back together when I got back here, and I did not have much time. Let me pull this down. Everything's sluggish. I'll get you to the section where I wanted to highlight. Let me run this, and I'll be right back.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay. Here it is. Just a little earlier in the speech.
And the audacity for this liberal government to tell us that we need to sacrifice more. It'll be worth it, though, by 2030, they say. It's so funny how that just keeps getting pushed back, because I remember them saying that back in 2015. It's almost as though they don't realize that our young people have made the biggest sacrifices in decades in our country's history. Sacrificing home ownership, the chance to be employed in a career that you love, having children, affording your dream wedding. How many people grew up with that? You'd make your Pinterest boards of all these things that you were so excited about for your future. And those are hard to achieve now. You're lucky if you achieve them. The ability to work hard and have the world be your oyster, because that was the dream that this great nation once promised them. We don't want to sacrifice anymore. We do not need to sacrifice anymore, especially not for an end goal that can't even be explained to us.
What? See, I find that offensive. I do. It makes me not want to vote for him. She's not running. That's offensive to me. I'll explain why. Here's a young woman with everything going for her. The blonde hair. Yeah, she worked in mainstream media. It's a really tough job. I know. I have paid my dues in media. Radio, TV, print. So I know. I slept in my car many nights in order to have a job in media. Traveling from city to city, multiple jobs, part-time jobs. So I know I sacrificed, I paid my dues because I wanted to work in media. So she had a radio job, and I guess that after a while, as always happens in radio, the job was pulled out from underneath her for one reason or another. And I think she was doing fairly well. I don't think she was like the main host in the morning. She was one of the members of the team on a morning team. I don't think she was, I think she read the news or something. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's good for her to have the job, and she worked very hard at it from what I gather. But like everybody else, when they changed formats or whatever happened, she lost her gig. But she landed on her feet. She ends up where? Over at a place like Creator Aid. Because she's a prominent media figure. She's got the right look. She's got everything going for her. She has a background in media. She has some talent. And so they hire her. And she's doing okay. Do you think it was really any easier 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago in media? It was different. It was very hard, even in the earliest days of television, to break into television because there were very few jobs. The entire time I worked in mainstream television, 25 years plus. People were getting laid off left and right. We'd go through these purges of staff. I was lucky. I was a survivor. And yet, I wasn't so lucky, Jasmine. Because I didn't have what you have. You're sacrificing? Look at where you are. You're in your 20s, I gather. And where are you? Where is Jasmine Lane? Where is she standing right now? Where is this blonde media personality, this female blonde media personality? Where is she standing? Well, she bitches and complains and tells people like me that I'm the goddamn problem with the country, like David Alot did, because what? I'm a boomer? And she's sacrificing, and all the people of her generation are sacrificing? What about the people who went to Afghanistan, Jasmine? What about that generation? How old were you when those people went off to war in Afghanistan? Did they sacrifice for us? And what the hell is she talking about? It's hard to have your dream wedding. When was it ever easy in this country? Ever. For middle class, regular, ordinary people to have their dream wedding. Some people born into families of fortune, more fortunate, some more fortunate than others. It depends on how successful your parents were before you. Largely, those dream weddings are paid for by the parents, not by the kids, not by you. Have you seen where she sits when she does her live streams? She's in looks like a bedroom of some kind with a couple of chairs. It's very feminine, and that's not an accident. It's all image. It goes with the blonde hair and the princess look. But the bitchy attitude, sorry, I don't mean it as a slight, it gives her an edge for the political messaging. That's the marketing aspect of it. That's the media aspect of it that I'm very, very in tune with. They told me, and I've told you this before, when I went to journalism school, when I went to broadcast journalism school, they told us all within the first week of our classes that we would never view media the same way, again, that we would never view media the way that the general public does, because we see what goes on behind the scenes. We see what it takes to produce it. We see the formulas. And I've seen the consulting companies in action. When I was at CTV at the local level, they hired, and this is one of the biggest media consulting firms out there called Magid. They're all about cliches. How long do your stories have to be? What kind of content should they be? They were all about localizing stories. Local. Take a national story and localize it, they would say. They had techniques, storytelling techniques, but also they would advise on the aesthetics of a newscast. What colors to use? what kind of graphics to use, what your music should sound like, what kind of people you should hire, what kind of look your anchor should have, what kind of women you should hire, what kind of men you should hire. And they were always Ken dolls or Barbies, unless they were looking for somebody to sit on the sports desk. And at the local level, it was, not always. There were exceptions to that. Sometimes people with heavy accents, if they had something really important to say, really intelligent people, really well-educated people at the national level. But the point is, it's a visual medium. And in the earliest days, I worked at CKCO Television in Kitchener. And, in the earliest days of television, the news anchors wore red jackets because color TV was coming into its own. So they put all the news team members in red jackets. Jasmine Lane hasn't sacrificed any more than anybody else. In fact, on the contrary, where is she standing right now in her 20s? She's on the national stage. She gave the closing address at the Conservative Party of Canada Leadership Convention. Her voice carried across the country. She has influence. She has power. They've given her that position. I don't know that she actually says what she wants to say. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But look at where she stands, and she's sitting there telling us that she and the people of her generation have sacrificed more than whom? Does she look like she's suffering? Or is she in a position of privilege right there? I don't know how much money she makes, but I don't think she's impoverished. See, then she stands there and talks about being conservative. And I'm paraphrasing here, but you know what the messaging is from that side, whether it's the far Christian right or the conservatives closer to the middle or whatever. But it's like, get rid of that DEI. Get rid of all that political correctness. That's what she is. To me. Do you know how many times I was passed over for jobs in media because of DEI? Because of what I am? Maybe who I am? Or both? Passed over, passed over, passed over. Why? I'm just going to come out and say it blatantly because I wasn't a woman, because I wasn't in that that ethnic group, or that one, or that one, or that one, or that one. I was a young white male. I had some value because I was able to carry camera equipment and I was well trained. I really had skills to offer. I was educated. I could get the job done. But I wasn't that. I wasn't that. Job after job after job after job after job. Passed over, passed over, passed over, passed over because of quotas. Oh, a lot of it they didn't say out loud, but it was very obvious, and I wasn't the only one, Jasmine. And so I sit here where I'm at after all these years of being passed over, passed over, passed over, and eventually getting tired of it and leaving to just do what I do on my own. And now I'm watching you. 20-something, blonde hair, exactly you are the epitome of political correctness. You are the epitome of DEI. You're a feminist. As Rush Limbaugh would say, a feminazi, because of your bitchy attitude. Again, nothing personal. It doesn't, to be quite honest, okay, it doesn't even bother me anymore. Because that's the way the world is. It's a cliche. Nothing against you. I'm just pointing out what you are, why you're there, and why I'm not. I don't like being preached to, though, whether it's by you or this David A-Lot who is on here bitching and complaining and moaning and pissing in my cornflakes. What the hell does he know either? Nothing. What's he really sacrificed? I don't know. Something weird about that guy, but you need to go back and find that broadcast to know what I'm talking about. But it's quite apparent what's going on here. So my friend said, you got to go watch that. It was great. And she got a standing ovation. These are the conservatives who are supposed to be bringing a meritocracy back to us. Hmm. 20-something, national stage, blonde hair, telling me that I'm the goddamn problem. And now they want my vote. They want me to sit here and fall into line and support them and say conservative things. Well, they crap on the country. There's something wrong in the CPC. Something seriously freaking wrong in the Conservative Party of Canada. There's rot at the core. There, I said it. They're not reading the room right. They don't have Canadians behind them. That's why you lost the last election. Just because Jasmine Lane gets lots of views, a lot of which I'm certain are not just organic, just because you get the views, it doesn't mean everybody watching you supports you. A lot of people don't. A lot of people watch you because they don't like you. The movement on that side is growing, no doubt, but for a lot of the wrong reasons. And there's a lot of blindness and hypocrisy. I guess that's the Pee Wee Herman word of the broadcast tonight. Hypocrisy. Tired of it, frankly. I am tired of it. I don't get upset about it. I'm not really. I don't want to watch Jasmine Lane. She's not directed at me. The marketing pitch is not aimed at me. They're using her to get to young people, especially young women and young men who find her aesthetically pleasing, who will watch her just because of that. And the message they're delivering is one of negativity while they sit there and accuse the other political team of being negative. They're bitching and complaining and crapping on the country, saying, you don't have to sacrifice. You've sacrificed so much already. You've sacrificed shit. You 20-somethings. Your lives are just beginning. You think we haven't had problems? You think it's been easy to buy a house ever? Sometimes it's a little more difficult, sometimes a little easier. But you got to work for it first. This is an instant gratification, spoiled brat generation. You want your food instantly. You want your house now before you build any equity, before you even get a down payment saved up. You got to go sleep in your car for a few months, maybe a year or two. I had a friend who worked at a TV station. He was doing sportscasting. He also worked in a couple of different cities like me. And so during the summers, he would sleep in a tent to work in media when he was starting out, when we both got out of school together, because he sacrificed to get his dream job. And he became very successful because he worked at it very, very hard. Became more successful than me. And yet, I'll say this, as much as I was passed over for jobs, I still had a job. I was still in the game. I had a much better job than most people in media. So I was actually very fortunate, even though I was passed over. And as much as I got frustrated and I saw that at times I felt it was unfair, I was still fortunate. And even now, where, I'm in Poverty'sville, not Pottersville, Poverty'sville, it's still a wonderful life. And I don't want to tear the country down. And I don't want to crap on my country. I'm here to defend it because it has given me everything. A place to live, an education, opportunity. That's all anyone should ever ask for. Opportunity. Jasmine. And you've had plenty of opportunities, and you've availed yourself of those. You've taken advantage of them, rightfully so. And congratulations. You're a success. Stop looking so angry about it. Celebrate. Enjoy it while it lasts. In media, it's often fleeting, and so too that is the case in politics. I know. Because even though I was passed over, I survived for a long time. I'm still here. And many friends that I had along the way and colleagues did not survive. They had to go do other things. The vast majority, because it's a very hard gig being in media and in politics. I'll tell you though, that's probably is as good as it is going to get for you, maybe. Although I don't know. You're pretty sharp. You seem very, very bright. My guess is they have more planned for you. Your future still looks bright. But you haven't convinced me to vote the way you want me to vote because I'm just not buying the messaging. It's way too freaking negative. Even though you're trying to spin it up and present it in a positive kind of package, it isn't. That's why you guys lost the last election. I did notice a change in the tone in the CPC messaging during the convention. I think they're starting to figure it out. But I'm alarmed. I'm not hopeful. I'm alarmed by what I witnessed this week with Jamil Javani going down to the White House to meet J.D. Vance. That's not right. Should I say this? I should go to the chat here for a moment and ask permission of Linda if she's in there. Hey, Linda, are you in there? Can I say something that's just a little bit off color, especially if it's like coded? Am I allowed, or is Linda in here tonight? I think she is. You can wash my mouth out with soap. I don't know. There's a delay here. Go ahead. I got permission from Dragon. Okay. I was, as I was driving home here to the mothership today from my parents' place, I was like, Jamil Giovanni, that's JJ, right? So he went down to see JD Vance. For what real reason, I'm still not entirely clear. Is to deliver this, President Trump loves you. That's the kind of crap that they're going to say just before they take us over and beat us with a stick or drop bombs on us. That's what the divine leaders always say. The dictators, went just before they start dropping bombs. We love the people, but we have to get rid of your oppressors. And then they kill civilians. Not saying Donald Trump's going to do that. Hope not. But I was thinking, JJ went to Washington to give JD a BJ. Oh, yeah. And I think that's pretty close to the truth. That's as close as you're likely going to get. JJ went to Washington to give JD a BJ. Oh. Prove me wrong. No, I found Jasmine Lane's speech offensive, but that's because I'm an older white dude who's been blamed for a lot of stuff in our country over the years. Stuff that I had nothing to do with. Just like you guys. And it continues, only now it's not coming from the left. It's coming from the anti-DEI crowd and Jasmine Lane. Can't win over here. Can't win. After all these years. Princess Jasmine. And I don't know, like, people have heard are they getting their dream weddings? Seems to me. Let me just check on this again. I have to pull up a picture here. Hang on. I hadn't even thought of this until just now. Yeah. Somebody just had a wedding. We just talked about it. Was this a dream wedding for this young lady? What did that cost? What did that cost to go to the Vatican? Sarah Stock. Now, this is on the U.S. side. This is not in Canada. But this is MAGA. And let's face it, the Conservative Party of Canada, largely Maple MAGA. Dream wedding. She made it. And then they're asking her in that Rift TV interview, well, what are you doing these days? Oh, not much. Just kind of hanging, doing some live streaming, getting married. That was in December, I guess. Making great sacrifices because there's no opportunities. And wishing I could have my dream wedding. That's not Sarah Stock saying this. I'm just overlaying. I'm editorializing and laughing. The hypocrisy and the sex. Sarah Setka. That's her married name. You know who is really drawing a lot of attention to this? Milo Yiannopoulos. See if I can find you his thread on this stuff. There's just so much online about it. As the conservative right implodes under the weight of its own hypocrisy and prejudice and anger and hatred and lack of perspective and self-interest. Did I lose that? I did. Okay, let's find Milo's feed here. Right here. We have, here's a clip of Sarah Stock.
Probably not. The garlic salt on everything, and then people just started to all tell me I'm pregnant. That would literally be impossible because I'm not married yet. So no, I'm not pregnant. Maybe I'll let you guys know when I am pregnant, but probably not, because last time I made an announcement about my personal life, all the e-girls started coming for me. The garlic salt.
So she's not pregnant because that one was that. I don't know. Well, not literally. I don't know what that means. Obviously. Oh, here's Nick Fuentes talking about Elijah. In this clip, this goes back a few years. Says here, this is from the Milo Yiannopoulos feed. He says, Nick has known about Elijah for years. And as with Ollie, he's just a girl who can't say no to a verified sex pest. In fact, he feeds them a steady diet of fresh underage boys, protects them when their sins come to light, and occasionally even threatens their victims. So, a little of the underbelly exposed here again by the political right itself. So what does the caption here say? Nick talks to a teenage fan about Elijah Shffer and Ali Alexander being predatory homosexuals.
Is that Elijah Shffer? Fucking faggot. Is it? No, it's not him. I thought it was him. So gay for me. He's horrible. A CPAC? Yeah. Holy, what you drink? Even a minute ago. What's going on here?
So they're talking about him buying drinks or whatever, and sounds like there's some inside baseball being played here. Let's go to Milo's page, because he has a whole bunch of this stuff. Gay, I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing it. Don't know what that means. Milo posts here, these re-ups are getting desperate and slightly sad, and note the peeved and petulant tone already creeping in. My 12 years of experience, such a red flag. Anyway, scroll down. We'll get to this stuff right here. Why does the Holy Father have an Italian accent? That's AI. It's largely been Milo Yiannopoulos who has been driving this scandal with the posts and the stuff that he's been uncovering. Milo, a shocking sex scandal rocks the trad right. And there's Elijah. Far-right trad grifter melts down after sex scandal exposed. A betrayal of the foulest kind. Some reprobate fornicator has used my television. I've had only 4 house guests this year. You know who you are, and I'm appalled. Don't know what that means. Too much of this stuff can't follow, I guess. Coward, excuse my language, pussy bitch. They're talking about the affair. So you know what it comes down to. Well, here's Elijah Shffer speaking to his wife and the mother of his children, it says. Another audio clip leaked.
Dumb bitch. Dumb bitch. Please. I'm trying to... Like, god damn it. Being such a fucking whore. I'm like, literally like, oh, hey. You know what? You had a couple beers. Oh, why do you lie to me? Why do you lie to me? You know why? Because you're a fucking whore and you're a bitch. And you need to shut the fuck up. How about that? Because when I talk to you the truth, you become a fucking whore. And I don't want to be around you. Oh, I'm not a whore. Yeah, maybe you're not. You act like one. How about that? Oh, well, you want to show yourself to me? Yeah. How about this? I can handle your shit. Fucking divorce me. Take my son. Do what the fuck you want. How about this? Shut the fuck up, because I'm your husband, and I'm trying to support you and be your husband. Well, you had a couple of beers with someone. Oh, god damn it. Oh, I hope you die. I hope you die and successfully. Oh my god, your husband had some beers. I hope you die in peace. Oh my god, you have fake problems. You have fake problems. You're a fake complainer. You have fake problems. Your husband loves you. He works for you. He does everything. Oh my god, but I have asked. Could you just be honest with me for one moment? Oh my god, what did I do? Was honest with you. Do you know what I got in return? Being honest? This shit. So fuck you. Honestly, from my bottom of my heart, fuck you, you bitch. I fucking will never be honest with you. You're a fucking ungrateful bitch. So fuck you. You don't deserve any honesty. Oh, I just really want you to be honest with me. I want you to just please. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. You had a couple beers. You tell me in past life. Oh my god, you're such a fucking lie. Oh, you suffer with lying. You suffer with lying, you bitch. You suffer with lying. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Fuck you. Honestly, just fuck you. You're such a fucking stupid cunt. You're just like, oh, well, you had a couple beers. I just wish you told me the truth. No, you don't, you bitch. You have no desire for that. It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry every time I listen to your stupid fucking shit. It makes me so angry. You know what? It's just, it makes me so angry I listen to your shit. I'm so angry. I even, listened to you for 10 minutes. You just lie to me through your teeth, and you go, when you lie to me, you lie to me too. You're a liar. You're a fucking liar. And you go, when you lie to me, you're a liar. I hate you. You're like, you're a fucking lying bitch too. So fuck you. I'm done with this. You know what? It's just it's just retarded. I won't be honest with you. I don't know why there's an issue tonight. You know, my dad sucks. I'm sorry, my dad sucks.
Good Christian. My God. People follow these people. I have to tell you, until just the last 24 hours, none of these people are even on my radar. Didn't really know who they were, never paid any attention. But for me, this just highlights a growing problem. This movement, this MAGA movement, whatever it has become, it has evolved into something dark. And a lot of the people who are leading are not real leaders. I think there is a lot of truth to the suggestion that they're grifters. I think some of these people are making a lot of money. A ton. But they're not helping you or me or the country, the United States, not helping Canada. Wow. It's they go off to CPAC, the conservative convention, right? What's going on there? Sex, drugs, rock and roll, politics, and religion. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? And why is it going wrong? Because the guy in the White House is giving them permission because of the example that he is setting. I'm not going to show you the video that Trump posted of the Obamas as apes. If you want to see it, it's out there. I don't need to promote it over here by showing it and then pretending that, like that's kind of what's going on too. Okay. So the people showing you the video, well, they condemn it, are profiting by showing it to you. See how it works? No thanks. I'll pass. And I don't want to sit here and be too judgmental tonight, because at the end of the day, maybe at the end of the convention, the political convention, whether it was CPAC or the Conservative Party of Canada convention, what this shows me, here's my takeaway. Your assessment may be different. At the end of the day, this shows me that the people on the right, even the far Christian right, are not that much different than the people on the left, even the far left, because they're all showing up at events like this. They're all, as they live their lives, they're all smoking and drinking and doing drugs and partying and having sex in marriages, out of marriages. They're banging their brains out, these young people. That's what they are. It's a bunch of kids right in here, all the people we're showing you. And I mean kids like young adults, right? Way too many hormones and not enough brain cells fully developed. And way too many brain cells inebriated, making poor choices. Even while they say they're Christian. While they say they're committed to traditional values. And why wouldn't they be behaving like this? Because the guy in the White House, who is the current champion of traditional values, got to make America great again, got to bring us back to the real America. That guy has had a whole life full of sin, beauty pageants, young women, supermodels, access to money. You can buy pretty much whatever you want. And even if you're not trying to buy it, you're attracting it anyway because you have the money. And some of the women that chase after people like that, they have a word for those. No, not that word. Gold diggers. What it comes down to is they can wrap themselves in the makeup. They can get that blonde hair perfectly styled. They can do the nails, put on just the right outfit, and deliver the lines from a podium or from behind a microphone in a studio with just the right amount of bitchiness or just the right, perfectly coiffed hair with just the right amount of Brill cream to hold that hair into place so you look like the perfect Ken doll. You can do all of those things. But when you go to those conventions and when you're just out living your life, you know what all of these people are? No, they're not just hypocrites. They're human. Sarah Stock is just a young girl. Elijah Shffer is a misguided young man. It's all pretty disgusting. And they're old enough, they should know better. But you know what it is, Jasmine? It isn't that you guys, it's not that your generation has been forced to sacrifice. The real tragedy for your generation, I think, is that you haven't had really good mentorship. You haven't had really good leaders. Not in the last decade. That's a tragedy for you. It's a tragedy for our nation, our nations, for the world, for all of us. As my friend from afar said in her last message to me, her last word, onward. We're not going to give up. See you guys back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern on the flip side.
They both look clean, but the guest list redacted if you know victims. And also Donald Trump. Coincidence? Just dumb luck. Right? Another sealed file. That crocodile smile. We did our best, says the DOJ, while the truth just fades away. Another new spin. No one will win except the rich guys with gold ID cards and closets full of secrets behind steel bars. Just a little glitch. A billionaire's privilege. That's the sound of the case. Closed.
He started.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.